Rally, the Michelin Rocky Mountain Rally. And today's rally is brought to you in part by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Aerofoil, a visibly superior wiper blade. Hello again, everyone. Vic Roder along with Paul Chater. And Paul, the Rocky really is a classic of Canadian rallying. Fast roads, changeable surfaces, beautiful views, but terrifying drop-offs.
This rally features the kinds of roads that drivers love and navigators fear. First car away is the Subaru Legacy Turbo of three-time Canadian champs Tom mcGeer and Trish Sparrow. Trish admitted that some of the roads here in Alberta are so scary she just closes her eyes and prays.
Now, as always, the detailed route gets secret until the start. Practice not allowed. For 94, the Calgary Sports Car Club has concocted a mix of well-known mountain stages, some new ones, and then right at the end will be a long contest on pavement. The course spread out over a couple of days. 630 kilometers, including some 200K of special staging.
Car number 2 here is a wildly modified Pontiac Fiero of local heroes Tim Bendel and Art McKenzie. Co-driver Art owns the car, and Bendel, the 84-85 Canadian champ, does the driving. Bendel is a spectacular driver who doesn't like the modern trend of four-wheel drive. His talent is perfectly matched to this Fiero. The rear-wheel drive machine kicks out 350 horsepower, and in Bendel's hands, it goes like a rocket. The pair are fresh from victory in the previous championship round, the Bighorn Rally in Hinton, Alberta.
Wearing number 3, the Castrol-sponsored Eagle Cowl of Barry and Sandra Latreille from Cornwall, Ontario. The Latreilles have been dominant over the past 4 years in production sport class, but have stepped up this season to the four-wheel drive turbocharged Eagle. Now they admit to 220 horsepower, but they're as fast off the start line as anyone.
Next up is the Eagle of Calgary restaurateur Jorge Descolas and Montreal's Steve Walkington. In car number 5, Jorge is an accomplished driver in Western Canada, but this will be only his second start in a four-wheel drive car. If last week's second place finish at the Bighorn is any indication, Descolas and Walkington may be serious challengers for the 94 national title.
Now, in recent years, Walter Peterson and Harry Pressey have specialized in long-distance marathons to places like Alaska or across the Australian outback. But this season, well, they have a brand new Honda Prelude with that race-proven VTEC engine, and they plan to contest the whole Canadian Rally Championship right here on TSN.
Now there's a light rain falling. Let's go to the leaders, Tom mcGeer and Trish Sparrow. Vic, you can see these roads are really slick. Now that's a four-wheel drive car. He's still sliding all over the road. Look at how wide he goes in this turn.
And you can see his first split time was 6:05.2 on this Hunter Valley 17.3 kilometer stage.
Now, let's watch Tim Bendel manhandle this 350 horsepower Fiero. There is Tom mcGeer's split time on the top. Underneath, Bendel, the clock is running. Let's see how quick he can be with this two-wheel drive car. He's much faster, 30 seconds quicker on this slick road with two-wheel drive.
In fact, it's closer to 40. It was 39 seconds. Remarkable considering the fact it's a two-wheel drive car. Now coming up to the second split, look at the time, 6:39.2.
Right back to back there.
Now we watch as they disappear up over the hill, back, and Bendel has almost caught them. He's within striking distance. He should be a full minute behind if they were driving equally, but he's just flying it through the stage. Look at this, 6:01.
38 seconds ahead. Incredible, but mcGeer really has picked up 1 second.
Now, we watch again from Bendel's perspective here. You see the tracks on the road. Those are mcGeer's going into the turns. We can see how Bendel is taking a slightly different line through some of the turns. He's in quite a bit tighter. He's sliding around a lot more. You can see how the nose of the car is dodging back and forth. Rear-wheel drive on this kind of surface has got to be a handful.
Well, I would think also because of the fact you're going to fishtail, you're going to give yourself that little extra room to let the car move over to the other side of the road. He's
pulling into the turns earlier and tighter, holding the car in a little longer because he knows that tail's going to slide out.
We watch mcGeer in his Subaru Legacy.
Across another bridge, we can hear him feathering the throttle through all the turns.
Wow, no feathering there.
None. He's got his foot right in it. Over the crest of the hill.
Look out.
big slide, but they've got some runoff room here. These are not the really treacherous, dangerous roads this rally is famous for. Big slide. Slight touch on the brakes, using his left foot on the brake pedal. You can hear the throttle was still down all the way. Back to mcGeer here, and Sparrow coming up to the finish control. Cross the line, 9:31.2. That's the time to watch.
All right, let's go back to Bendel at the second split, remember. He was ahead by 38 seconds.
Now, there's no way, really, that a two-wheel drive car should be faster in this kind of road, except Bendel knows these roads. He's driven them before. This is the first time for mcGeer in this event along some of these roads. Here he is through the finish control, 8:45.2. Look at the comparison.
Remarkable average speed, over 119 kilometers per hour over the 17K stage. As we look back now to Jorge Descoles.
He's had an excellent run here. Another four-wheel drive vehicle. He's also familiar with these roads, but he's not familiar with driving a four-wheel drive vehicle. You can see now he's very steady, very clean through the last S-bend, coming up to the control.
In fact, he was a lot cleaner there than mcGeer was, and it shows in his time as he is 6 seconds quicker than mcGeer. So here's the Hunter Valley Stage leaderboard. 2 local drivers on top. You wonder now then, Paul, if it's the local knowledge, the familiarity with the roads, or maybe it just comes down to horsepower.
Well, our new car is an Eagle Talon all-wheel drive turbo. Unfortunately, we haven't had total preparation yet. We don't have a boost kit, so we're running a totally stock boost at stock horsepower. And as far as local knowledge goes, we have run these roads several times here in the past, so there is a lot of corners that I can remember.
Tom was, I'm sure, I talked to him, he was backing off on a lot of the crests around the corner. Where I've driven this road a few times, I know I can keep my foot in it.
Wow, is this road ever fast? That's all that I was really thinking about. It's really, when you lift off for any of these crests, if you don't know the road, you have to slow down just a little bit. And at 160, you lift a little bit, you lose 20 kilometers an hour, and then it takes you another 200-300 meters to get it back up again. So that probably costs 5-10 seconds, maybe, 5 seconds, I should say. And you do that 10 times, well, that's 50 seconds. And that's what we're having the problem right now. Plus, the road's very fast, and our car is suffering from its lack of horsepower.
The teams did one more stage, met with their service crews, and then an hour later they were back at the start line at Hunter Valley for special stage number 4. This time it was dark, there were icy patches on the road, and ground fog. As we watch mcGeer and Sparrow tackle the stage, listen to Trish as she reads her notes and route book instructions.
Leftover bridge 100. Medium right opens 100. Caution hard right. Right over bridge. Hard left tightens.
This team has a reputation for being very fast at night. They convincingly won the 17-kilometer stage with a time just 5 seconds off their daylight pace.
That's a remarkable piece of tape. Now, before the rally, Trish Sparrow was asked about their strategy, and probably speaking for most of the competitors, she answered truthfully, stay as close as we can, let the Fiero brakes. The Flying Fiero had a reputation for breaking down, but it had held together to win at Bighorn, while all of the fast guys from Eastern Canada blew up or they crashed trying to match the Calgarians' pace. You see, in rallying, the night can be cruel. And by midnight, the two-time champion from Calgary was parked.
About 500 yards back, the motor started to make a funny noise. Oil pressure dropped, and before I had a chance to flip the key off, the rod went through the side of the block. So another expensive motor bites the dust, unfortunately.
So at the end of the first night, mcGeer and Sparrow are the leaders. Tim Bendel, his expensive weekend isn't over yet. More is this Rocky Mountain Rally. More when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. Mick Crowder along with Paul Shader, and this is what they call the powder face stage. And you really do. When they say it is the most terrifying stage in rallying, they mean it. 33.5 kilometers, average speed approaching 110K, top speeds over 180, and you don't want to look over the edge.
Not here. This is not a particularly scary part of the stage right here, but it is the stage that Trish Sparrow said absolutely terrified her, where she just closes her eyes. We'll see that coming up. There's a sheer wall in some places on one side going straight up and another one going straight down, so you cannot make a mistake on this road without paying for it.
We already saw their first split at 6.6K, and that was 3:46.2.
Now, very fast piece of road. You consider 110 kilometers an hour on gravel. Some people don't travel 110 kilometers an hour on a highway, and they're doing it on a road they've never seen before, over wooden bridges, gravel roads, sheer drop-offs, trees everywhere. It takes a lot of courage.
You know, the thing that surprises me is
Hard left into zigzag left.
the amount of movement the car has, despite the fact it's a four-wheel drive. And now you see the drops on the right.
This is the kind of road, to paraphrase an old rally driver, if you go off the edge, your clothes will be out of style by the time you hit bottom.
Got that right. Hopefully nobody does go over the edge as we come up now to the second split at 17K, 10:02.3.
17K into a 33K stage. This is very long by rallying standards in Canada anyway. Usually the stages are 10 to 15K long. 33 requires a great deal of concentration over a long period. It's exhausting.
Listen again to Trish Sparrow.
Hard right.
Now you consider mcGeer's doing a lot of this driving one-handed. When he has to change gears so often, watch his right hand. He hangs on for a little bit, then he's down. Up and down the gears constantly.
What I would think as well, the car is getting pretty light here.
You can see how much play there is in the steering wheel. Look at that. Just back and forth. He's sawing away on the wheel. Literally right on the ragged edge. Trying with everything he's got to keep the car out of the trees, which he almost didn't do that time.
All right, we're coming up to the finish of this stage. And in a cloud of dust, 1935.3.
Now, here's Tim Bendel. He's back. And in a 22-year-old Datsun 510.
That's not the first year of it.
He's not eligible for the national championship, but he is eligible for the Alberta Regional Championship. So he stayed up all night, pulled this car out of the garage. It hasn't turned a wheel since November. Pulled up to the starting line here, and look at that split time.
Remarkable. I mean, he brings this car out of mothballs and he beats mcGeer split.
Perfect car for these fast roads. Good old rally car. Here he comes up to the finish line, through a cloud of dust.
Oh my goodness, he has rolled it.
The worst sound in rallying is no sound at all, and it's very quiet through that dust cloud.
I put some different tires on I've never tried before for the first couple stages, and I found that the cars were pretty loose. I got a little loose on the outside here. I think I was maybe putting a show on for the cameras, and got the car a little too far on the outside. It hooked the ditch, and I couldn't recover it in time. The fronts came in, and that was the end of it. So once that happens, just hang on for the ride till it stops.
So a very expensive weekend becomes even more so as he writes off with the Arrow and now the Datsun. All this is Barry Latray having a great battle for second place with Jorge Descolas, both of them driving similar Eagle Towers. Now Latray came into the stage trailing Descolas by 15 seconds, but he manages to pick up 10 right here.
Now, inside with Barry and Sandra Latray on this stage.
3/10, left again.
She sounds so calm. They're going so quickly. The intercom through their helmets. She's just very casually giving them the instructions as he attacks them.
As we look at Jorge Descolas, now remember, he came into the stage leading the Latrays by 15 seconds, but with that split, Paul, he has now dropped 8 behind at the halfway mark. As a navigator, now to listen, how much in advance does the driver want to be told of what's upcoming?
That's why it's so important to have a team that's together for a while. The navigator has to judge when the opportune time is. If you mention to the driver too soon, he'll slow down. Too late, he might run off the road. It's really a very personal team thing, and it's up to the navigator to sense how much more to give that driver.
Caution, left over crash.
Coming up to the Latray, the third split. Look at the way that road just goes up and down. 11:29.3. All right, keep that in mind because Descolas, remember, came into the stage leading by 15 seconds over the Latrays. Look at this country.
And the speed, the best rally road, if you have the stomach for it, over the crest of the hill. Look how calm his hands are on the wheel. Very, very tight.
Coming up now to the third split. And Descolas continues to slip back as Latray closes in. But after 8 stages, Descolas still second by just 5 seconds over the Latrays. As this Michelin Rocky Mountain Rally continues, the top 3 cars running almost identically, Paul, we wanted to go down Moose Mountain and ride along with all 3 at the same time. Sit back and watch.
Very different. You could see mcGeer how much he was sawing back and forth with the wheel. Descolas, on the other hand, was using his gear lever a lot more.
The novice crew, Jordan Irwin, Darwin McAdoo running 8th spot in their Toyota Corolla.
Walter Peterson and Harry Pressey have their Prelude front-wheel drive all alone in 4th place.
As we look at the leaderboard here, you know, no other motorsport you can have people like Kevin Sackluck and Richard Decker in the Mazda RX-3 Edmonton running 5th and comparing themselves to mcGeer.
Father and son team Peter and Gregor Jeffrey running 6th in their Toyota Corolla.
The American team of Scott Simmons, Monty Horn from Washington running 7th overall. As we go back and check on the battle between Lecrae and Descolas, and they have had a great battle the entire rally.
Fighting back and forth. This is inside with Lecrae on this section of the road. Very quick. Now with Descolas, you see the white piece of tape in the center of the steering wheel. That is so he gets so far behind sometimes in the steering wheel, block to block, just sawing the wheel back and forth and revolutions all the way around. This helps just center the wheel quicker. It's just a visual reference to get the car running straight and level again.
Fast left.
Back with Descolas.
Fast right.
Fast right, slightly over the crest. He
Flat
keeps
out
his foot
left.
down. Hear the navigators say flat out left. Watch this corner. Through the finish control.
Remarkable, after 200K of dirt stages, Descolis hung on to a slim 4-second lead over third place Barry Letray. So from the dirt, we now go to the pavement and Race City in Calgary, and that means a change of tires.
Well, if they were to continue to run their dirt stage tires, first of all, they're at full tread depth, and because the tires are built for traction off-road, they've got a lot of siping in them, which is going to create a lot of tread squirm on the road race circuit. So in this case, what we have is George has changed over to a Michelin XGTV, which we used to run in the Honda Michelin series, which is a tire that's at 6/32 of tread depth. And it's also compounded to take the temperatures and give the stick needed going through the corners and down the straightaway. So I expect George to stick very well, and I expect him to have some pretty quick times.
The Rocky Mountain Rally on TSN. Welcome back, Vic Crowder, along with Paul Chater. This is a little different. Paul, final stage, 8 laps on the road course at Race City.
And a completely different technique needed. So we watched Barry Letray in the white car trying to catch Descolis. He started the stage a minute behind him. On neatness equals speed. When you're on pavement, you have to be extremely tight. Tight your arm.
Stay right there.
Now you can hear Sandra Letray say, look at, we started by 4 seconds. We've made that up. We're going to win this.
Okay, we're on here.
Got him! Woo!
3.
And indeed they do. So the Letrays come back to grab second spot from Jorge Descolis.
We were lucky enough to have some help from TFX International. It's a transport company that specializes in bringing cars across the country. They had an empty spot on their trailer, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Tom mcGeer, Trish Sparrow, the winners, with the Letrays, as I say in that last stage, grabbing second from Descolis. As for the championship standings, after 3 events, mcGeer and Sparrow are the leaders as the Rally Series now heads east for the Rally Michelin Baie des Chaleurs, July 8 and 9 in Richmond, Quebec. Now on behalf of Paul Chater and our entire crew, I'm Vic Crowder. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye from Calgary. The Canadian Rally Championship on TSN is brought to you by Aerofoil, a visibly superior wiper blade, and by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.